Hey guys, Mezzy here. September is a new month, jam-packed with a whole new lineup of games. From the epic battles of Warhammer, all the way to the long-awaited PC releases of Final Fantasy XVI and God of War Ragnarok. This month is going to be a wild ride for gamers. Let's get right into it. First up, we have Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. The highly anticipated sequel to the 2011 third-person shooter is finally here, and it's bringing even more brutal combat and massive battles. You'll be stepping into the power armor of a Space Marine, taking on hordes of Tyranids in visceral, bloody action. To overcome these insectoid aliens, you'll use a wide range of weapons, such as the bolt gun, with exploding rounds, the melt gun, and the bolt pistol. When those filthy bug boys get too close for comfort, you have the option to smash them with the Thunder Hammer, chop them up with a power sword, or even cut them in half with a chainsword. Space Marine 2 will have a single-player campaign that follows sometime after the first game, where you play as Lieutenant Titus, who was demoted after the events against the Forces of Chaos. With a new story taking place across 2 planets during the 4th Tyranid War. The game will also have multiplayer with a co-op mode much like that of Helldivers 2, where you play as a team of 3 where you build your own Space Marine to your own liking, with your choice between 6 different classes, each with unique specializations and a drop in and out playstyle. It was also announced that the game will feature 6v6 PvP with a capture the flag game mode, and possibly some others along with it. So all this is shaping up to be one insane bloodbath that I am all in for. Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 is releasing September 9th on Steam, Epic Games, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Next, let's talk about Towerborne, the side-scrolling beat-em-up from Stoic, the creator of the 2D hit The Banner Saga. This action-adventure game blends tower defense with RPG elements, creating a fresh experience for players with its vibrant art style and strategic gameplay. Towerborne has quickly become one of the most anticipated indie titles of this year. Whether you're defending your tower from enemies or exploring the world for upgrades, there's plenty to sink your teeth into here. The game appears to be a weird mashup of Castle Crashers and Golden Axe, where you take on this world of monsters as a hero called an Ace, who protects the post-apocalyptic city of Numbers and the Belfry Tower within it. All of this sounds really weird to me, but it definitely got my interest at Gamescom this year. You progress through the game by unlocking new areas of the overworld, where you unlock new missions and enemy types as you complete objectives, obtain new loot, and protect the tower. Players can choose from several weapon types including war clubs, gauntlets, dual daggers, and sword and shields. Though players are not locked to any specific playstyle, they can also adventure outside of the Belfry solo or with 3 other aces. The game will later be a free-to-play model with seasonal content that will expand the story, enemies, abilities, and weapons to further enhance and customize your character. However, Towerborne will hit Steam Early Access on September 10th with a later release to Xbox Game Pass preview. Thankfully, the game will have crossplay and progression. So if you plan on playing mainly on console, but you want to jump right in, you can have your cake and eat it too.
True balance lies beyond the edge of a blade.
Following this, we have Enotria: The Last Song, Souls-like which transports players to a hauntingly beautiful world where music and magic intertwine. It seems like 2024 has been the year of action RPGs with hits such as Elden Ring's Shadow of the Erdtree expansion and Black Myth: Wukong. According to the developer's description of the game, it takes place in sunlit land inspired by Italian folklore. The world taken over by the Cano Vasciao? That doesn't sound right. Let's Google this real quick.
Canovaccio.
A twisted eternal play that keeps everything in unnatural stasis. You play as the maskless one who is tasked with freeing the world from stagnation. The game will feature 3 main regions, over 40 plus hours of content, and more than 100 different enemies. As you defeat the game's bosses, you will unlock their masks, offering new abilities with unique playstyles, playing to different strengths and weaknesses. Players will be able to swap between 3 customizable loadouts at any time, with 30 plus different masks, 68 skills, and 150 plus million build combinations to customize to your playstyle, including 120 plus weapons to get a hold of, 8 weapon types to master, 45 spells, and 8 parry modifiers. That's a lot. I'm curious to see how that plays out. This action RPG stands out with its intricate combat system and narrative that unfolds through the songs of its world. If you're a fan of games like Soulsborne titles with a twist, Enotria should be on your radar, releasing September 19th on Steam, Epic Games Store, Xbox Series XS, and PS5.
Boy.
Speaking of a September 19th release, God of War Ragnarok finally lands on PC this month, bringing the critically acclaimed game to a whole new audience. PC players can look forward to enhanced graphics, improved performance, ultra widescreen support, and all the breathtaking moments that made the game a masterpiece. This release will also include the Valhalla DLC, so whether you're revisiting the journey of Atreus and Kratos or experiencing it for the first time, this is one release you can't afford to miss. Again, you can catch Kratos and boy on Steam September 19th. Also this September, fans of the Zelda series are in for a treat with The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. This new entry promises to capture the magic of the original games while introducing new mechanics and a fresh storyline from the perspective of Zelda. While rescuing Zelda from Ganon, Link disappears after being sucked into a mysterious rift. While other rifts appear throughout Hyrule, causing others to disappear, Zelda sets out to save Link and Hyrule with the help of the fairy Tri, who gives her the Tri-Rod. Very original. All jokes aside, in the game you see the classic characters including the Deku, Gerudo, Gorons, and the River and Ocean Zora, where Zelda traverses through Hyrule and possibly new dimensions, giving Zelda new puzzles to tackle in this isometric game in the same chibi art style we saw with Zelda Link's Awakening remake. It's a love letter to the series that's sure to please both longtime fans and newcomers alike. At least I know I will enjoy it with my wife and kids. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is slated to release September 26 on the Nintendo Switch. Next up for MMO enthusiasts, Throne and Liberty. It is the new Lineage 2 spiritual successor and it is on the way. This upcoming MMORPG from NCSoft promises massive PvP battles, deep character customization, and a dynamic world that reacts to your actions. Whether you're exploring dungeons or battling other players in large-scale sieges, Throne and Liberty aims to deliver a next-gen MMO experience. Will it deliver? I don't know. In all honesty, I'm worried about it, but kind of hopeful because the game encourages a single character progression focus, much like Final Fantasy XIV, allowing the player to swap weapons to change abilities and skills for a different playstyle. The core gameplay features your standard quests, storylines, open-world dungeons, and raids. However, the main in-game loop is massive open-world PvP. You progress your character through leveling, looting, and crafting gear, and then upgrading said gear a la your standard Korean MMO means, much like that of Arcade or Black Desert Online. This is where I'm a little scared, as these types of mechanics normally promote pay to win, which Throne and Liberty is pretty much guaranteed to keep. With that said, the game will be free to play, so maybe just experience the core gameplay loop and hopefully you don't notice the credit card warriors. It is still a beautiful game, the progression might still be worth your time if you're an Arcade or BDO enjoyer. Throne and Liberty will release in early access on September 26th for PC, Xbox Series XS, and PS5. And then it enters free-to-play October 1st, offering cross-play between the platforms. So Frank West is back with the Deluxe Remaster of Dead Rising, bringing the zombie-slaying chaos right to modern platforms. This remaster doesn't just polish the graphics, it also includes new quality of life improvements such as fully voiced characters, auto-saving, improved UI, and revamped controls that make the game feel fresh while staying true to its roots. Get ready to jump back into the mall and take down hordes of zombies with its most ridiculous weapons imaginable. If you aren't familiar with Dead Rising, you are missing out, as this game is a homage to zombie films leaning heavily on the themes of George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. You play as the hardened photojournalist Frank West, who is alerted by a source that something is happening in the town of Willamette, Colorado. Frank is dropped off at the local mall where he soon finds out the town is experiencing a zombie outbreak, not a local riot. You must progress the story within 72 hours where the military will come back to rescue you. The player must survive by any means necessary with a wide arrangement of weapons found in the shopping mall, saving survivors, hacking up zombies, and defeating psychopaths, all while taking pictures of your journey and finding and completing case files to beat the game. The game comes with 3 alternative endings, allowing for replayability if you're interested in playing 3 different times. You'll be able to chop till you drop, starting on September 16th for Xbox Series XS, PS5, and on Steam. Another exciting PC re-release is on the horizon, and Final Fantasy fans have plenty of reason to celebrate. Final Fantasy XVI is finally making its way to Steam, and it's poised to be an absolute visual feast. This entry has already dazzled players on consoles with its breathtaking graphics, compelling story, and new action RPG combat that brings a fresh yet familiar twist to the series. For PC players, the experience will be even better, with enhanced graphics settings, smoother frame rates, and a full range of customization options that we've come to expect from a top-tier PC release. The game will also come with all the DLC that released over the year. Whether you're a longtime fan of the franchise or a newcomer, there's something here for everyone. From the intense boss battles and econ summons, to the richly detailed world that pulls you into the epic tale. Personally, I'm really excited for this one. I didn't get to experience it last year due to my party of 3 becoming a party of 4, and you can bet I'm going to be making up for it with this PC release. It also helps that Yoshi P was at the helm, and the game has some heavy Final Fantasy XIV influence. For those who've been waiting for this PC release, the wait is almost over. It's releasing September 17th on Steam. Up next, we have a retro-inspired shooter that looks like a mix of Contra and Doom, and I'm 100% here for it. Iron Meat is a run-and-gun shooter that immerses the player in a world overrun by the meat. Yummy. Which is an all-consuming interdimensional biomass where players will battle against mutated victims and machines, dodging bullet barrages and crushes bosses in 9 levels of gorific brutality. You play as Vadim, fighting back against the meat and stop the terrors spawned from Yuri Markov's experiments on the moon. This game brings back the classic run-and-gun action in the 90s with a modern twist. Expect brutal difficulty, hordes of enemies, and that nostalgic arcade feel, with multi-phase boss fights, 3 different difficulties, couch co-op, and 30 different skins that can be mixed and matched to your heart's desire. It's a love letter to the golden age of shooters with all the adrenaline-pumping action you could ask for. Coming to Steam, Epic Games Store, GOG, Nintendo Switch, PS5, and Xbox Series XS on September 25th. Last but not least, we have a title that I'm going to butcher all to heck, so I apologize in advance. It is called Reynatis. This upcoming RPG is shrouded in mystery with a dark and moody aesthetic that immediately grabs your attention. This is an action-packed magical RPG in which 2 people with different perspectives fight for their ideals in a realistic recreation of a modern-day Shibuya. The year is 2024, where the Criminal Response Act has issued an order barring citizens from going out at night. However, it is quickly disregarded and few enforce it. Marin Kurozuma is a wizard who grew up oppressed by others due to his magic. Following those words by his father, he arrives in Shibuya at night. When Sari Nushijima discovered her magic, she decided to use her powers to maintain order, however. She follows her own sense of justice to protect Shibuya from forces with dangerous ideals and illegal drugs that turn people into monsters. So, Marin who seeks liberation, Sari who treats the oppression of wizards as justice, the story of Reynatis begins when the 2 meet in Shibuya. By properly utilizing suppressed and liberated states, anyone can execute show-stopping actions. In suppressed mode, you are unable to attack, but you can avoid any enemy attacks with the press of a single button. In liberated mode, you can go all out with your attacks, but you'll be unable to defend, so timing is essential. Players can instantly switch between up to 3 different characters in the middle of battle. Each character comes with their own unique abilities. Pick your characters depending on the situation to gain the upper hand. This sounds a lot like your standard JRPG party system. The game promises action-packed combat, full city exploration of Shibuya, and pockets of the city contain fog that are gateways to an alternate magical world called Another that only wizards can access. This clandestine realm is managed by the anti-government organization known as the Guild. Those who cannot wield magic are unable to enter, and monsters run rampant due to the magic in the air. The expanse of Another contains not only forests and wilderness, but things resembling factories and museums as well. What lies in the deepest recesses remains unknown. This game represents all the best things I like about anime. I can't wait to see what this world has in store for story and exploration. If you're looking for a new game to sink hours into, Reynatis could be the hidden gem of the month. Releasing on PS4 and 5, Nintendo Switch and Steam this September 26th. And before we wrap up, let's give a quick shout out to some of the other notable releases this month. Technically, this first game released at the end of August, but World of Warcraft The War Within kicks off with its first season with new Raid and Mythic Plus content on separate dates in September. Rhubar Palace is the first raid of the expansion. This will be an 8-boss encounter in Aj-Kahit. With the launch of the new raid comes a fresh difficulty option for solo players and non-raiders called Story Mode. This mode allows players to experience the raid content and narrative without the need to group up, which is a great fit for the strong storytelling we've seen so far. This mode will allow 1 to 5 players and will only include the final boss. Mythic Plus will launch with 4 new dungeons from this expansion, 2 Shadowlands dungeons, and 1 BFA and Cataclysm dungeon each. This dungeon lineup is Stonevault, Dawnbreaker, City of Threads, Arakara City of Echoes, Mist of Tyr and Scythe, Necrotic Wake, Siege of Borealis, and Grim Batol. So, on September 3rd, we'll see the final campaign of the season with the introduction of the Earthen and Allied race. Normal and Heroic Raid, Mythic Zero Dungeons, PvP Season 1, and World Bosses being released on September 10th. Mythic Raid, Mythic Plus, and Raid Story Mode releasing on September 17th. I'm pretty excited for this content as I have been really enjoying this new story experience in The War Within so far. Also on the honorable mentions list is the new Starfield DLC, The Shattered Space, which is supposed to expand Bethesda's latest universe with new storylines, exploration, and missions. I want to be excited for this, but I wasn't really into Starfield, and this is coming from a longtime BSG fan, all the way since Morrowind on the original Xbox. We also have a title hitting Steam Early Access this month that I was initially excited for, but news recently came out on stjav.fr that the production has been underwater, according to the employee's open letter to Spiders, the studio behind Greedfall 2. While it's disappointing to hear about the struggles of Greedfall 2's development, especially after enjoying the first game, there's still plenty to look forward to this month. With that in mind, let's shift gears and dive into the top 4 games that have me most excited about this month. Starting off with my most hyped game, Enotria: The Last Song. I love Soulsborne games, and the setting and character options in the game seem like they'll scratch the itch for any fan of the genre. My second pick is World of Warcraft: The War Within. Again, I know it technically released late August, but I don't think the proper release starts until the start of the first season. I've really been enjoying the story, and I really hope the main content loop holds me. I haven't had that true hook since maybe Legion. Next is Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. I never played the first game in the series, but this looks amazing with the 40k setting, following the blood and gore that Warhammer is known for. The addition of the multiplayer content makes this an easy buy. Last on the list is Final Fantasy XVI release on PC. I've been a major fan of Final Fantasy ever since I stepped into the shoes of Cloud in 7, and that fandom was further solidified by the backstory of Vivi in 9. I missed this title when it released on PS5, but with Yoshi P's name behind it and with the Final Fantasy XIV aesthetic, but with the action combat. I think that's enough said. I'm pretty sure you get the picture. Well, that's it for this month's must-play games. Be sure to let me know in the comments which titles you're most excited for, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.